What's up, guys? Welcome to my first top 10 countdown video. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. I have a bunch of lists in my head. Who thinks about this shit throughout the day? But I know I'm not alone. So, but first, I apologize for my little 6-year-old girl arms. It's just hot as fuck here, and I hate the summertime. The only good part about the summer is concerts and... well, that's about it. That's about it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna do my top 10 favorite vehicles in games. Like, whether it's like a side-scroller or a first-person shooter, it doesn't matter. And I'm not gonna go by, say, like, Star Wars, the Rogue Squadron games, and all that stuff, because you start in a vehicle. I'm talking like, it could be ground-based, like you're just walking around, and then the battlefield changes or the gameplay mechanics change because you climb into a vehicle and you're either in power or you're the one getting decimated from another player being in a vehicle if it's a multiplayer game. So two of those on my list might not fit that criteria. Do you like my Amagon pink shorts, by the way? No? Okay. So yeah, let's get started before I talk more about my fluorescent wardrobe. So yeah, I wrote it down because I know I'm gonna forget. And this is just my list. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's not any kind of official list. It's officially stupid, if that makes any sense. This is just my personal list. So I know there's millions of games out there that have better vehicle selection or ones that make more sense, but whatever, this is mine. And who cares what I think anyway. So, number 10, I love the Unreal Tournament games. I've been a fan since '99, I think, when they first came out. But I think vehicles were first introduced in the 2003, 2004 ones, which I didn't get to play too much because I didn't have a computer. I was like living in the Stone Age. I just had Nintendo and GameCube and PlayStation, all that shit. I didn't have a computer. So anyway, I used to go to my friend Martin's all the time and be like, hey, what are you doing? He'd be like, I'm kind of busy doing homework. Well, do you mind if I come over and just hang out and play Unreal Tournament all day? So anyway, but this particular one in Unreal Tournament 2003, Unreal Tournament 3, that came out in 07, I believe, when you fight against the Necrus, the like zombie people that are brought back to life and have black blood, and they're cool and they're like ghostly like me. Well, not now, because I was out in the sun the other day, so I somewhat got a tan. But anyway, you fight against the Necrus, and they have these cool, like, hover bike things that kind of remind me of the ghosts from Halo. But these ones are called, yeah, I knew I was going to forget, the Necrus Viper. It's like a little, it's just like a hover bike, and it flies around, and you can run people over. The handling is a little weird. It's like slippery as hell. You go all over the place, but it's awesome. Like, you can fly around and like capture the flag or any other map. Game mode, the big maps, which the Unreal Tournament games are mostly made for. And you could fly around, but the cool thing was there was like a jump button, and it would make the Viper jump in the air. And like at the height of the jump, you could push one of the triggers. I think it was the L button or something like that. And you'd jump off, you eject off the Viper bike and send the thing flying into somebody. It was awesome. Like, they should make mechanics like that into like something like Halo. I'm sorry, I know I mention Halo all the time because I really like it. Anyway, moving on. Number 9. So I love the Half-Life games as well. I was a late bloomer for those because I know they debuted. Get out of here. It's my cat. One of them. I got into the first one, but I didn't play it until it was on PlayStation 2. I have that one. And I didn't get to play the second ones until they were released on like old Xbox and all this and that. My friend Martin's really into them, but I kind of liked the feeling of isolation in those games as opposed to like the big, like epic stuff like Halo or Call of Duty or whatever, to name a few other first-person shooters. And I like the part when, I forget when it is, but I know you get a dune buggy, and it just seemed cool. It made me think of like the Road Warrior, like Mad Max, like Gordon Freeman that you play as was like all by himself, and you're just in this dune buggy driving on like the highway, and it made me think it was pretty cool. I don't know. Like it didn't switch the perspective. You know how most first-person shooters, it's first-person shooter, and then when you climb into a vehicle, it goes into third person. For some reason, I really liked how this stayed first person. I know there's a million other games that have done that, like Far Cry and all that stuff, but I just really like that view. I remember you could like shoot. I think it had. I'm pretty sure it had a Gatling gun on it, so you could like fire at like enemies that were coming after you. But it was cool. Like I used to always look down, and I remember you could see the street like underneath you, and it made me wonder what would happen if like you had bare feet and you touched the pavement and it would like cut your leg off or something. But yeah. So I know, random as hell. I know. So let's move on. Number 8. That little purple and yellow. Well, it's not that little. That purplish yellow thing with a beak with the long ass tail from the Golden Axe games in the arcade in Genesis. I remember when I was a kid and my brother and sister, we used to go across the street to my mom's house. There was this arcade, and that's where I was first introduced to like Killer Instinct and all that shit. But they had Golden Axe, and we used to spend so much money playing that. And it was a beat 'em up. You all know what Golden Axe is. I don't have to explain it to you. But I like the little dwarf guy, Gimli. That's Lord of the Rings. Figured I said that. The little green guy. I can't think of his name. But I liked the mechanics of how you could jump onto like the different beasts and the animals and like kind of dominate the battlefield. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, there's gonna be diverse lists, but there was other ones like dragons and shit that breathed fire. And I remember in like the third Golden Axe, you could ride on a snail that hit people with the tongues. But anyway, the purple and yellow thing, I don't know what the hell its name is, so that's why I'm calling it the purple and yellow thing. I remember we'd go like, boom, boom, and like hit people with its tail. And it just felt so cool, because I don't think there was much around like that back then in beat 'em ups. Yeah, and it was also an enemy in Altered Beast, another arcade game that was at that particular arcade when I was in my youth, a little child. But they were bad in that. I remember you could like boot them. They go flying, and they were a pain in the ass. But yeah, Golden Axe, that was one of my first introductions into riding a beast into battle. Let's see, let's move on to number 7. I know, I talk about too much Halo, but whatever, it's my list. So, I am a huge fan of big, like, mechs, like mechanical, robotic vehicles, whether it's automated or pilotable, drivable, whatever. So, and I'm a giant Halo fan. So when I saw the video, the release video when Halo 4 was being worked on, you all know where I'm going with now, and they showed this thing called the Mantis that you could climb into, which kind of looks like Metal Gear from Metal Gear. Oh, is it Metal Gear Rex, I think? Metal Gear Rex? I should know, I grew up with those games. But anyway, when I first saw the release video on Ragnarok, the Ragnarok map, and they showed people running around in multiplayer using this giant new mech, the Mantis, I was like, shit myself. I sent that video to everyone. I sent it to my brother, to Martin, everybody was like, oh my god, there's a big robot you can drive in Halo! But yeah, I mean, come on, it was like I said, it looks pretty similar to Metal Gear, but whatever. That's as close as we're gonna get to piloting that thing from Metal Gear, right? So yeah, I mean, come on, you can shoot missiles, or rockets, Gatling gun, and I know a lot of people complained that it wasn't as balanced for the gameplay, but whatever, it's cool. It'll probably never come back because so many people complained about it, but we'll see. And you can push like the melee button and it would stomp on people and they go flying. And like, how could you just not think it was cool? Like, seeing your guy climb up into the cockpit and then it like comes to life and starts walking around. The first level you get it introduced to into the campaign, I think, is when you're on board the crashed Infinity, and Master Chief goes into it and he's fighting through the bay area to get to the top of the ship, and it's like all the grunts and everybody are like that big and you're just stepping on it. Oh, awesome. Like that part gave me goosebumps in that game. So yeah, Mantis, Halo 4. I was a fan of it. You guys will probably laugh at this one too. This is when I first played Empire Strikes Back on old Nintendo, which I got for Christmas when I was a kid. I remember taking like 9 hours to get past Hoth to get into Echo Base. You might have seen my Aaron Strange video. But when I first discovered you could pilot the ATSTs, I thought that was cool as hell. It was like unnecessary as hell. I don't think they served the purpose except for to get you past like the spiked death trap pits and shit. But it was cool. Like that was the first time I think that you could pilot an ATST in a Star Wars game. I'm sure I am very wrong, but it was cool to me. And yeah, almost. It's kind of funny now that I notice I put that on the right next to the Mantis on my list, so you can tell I have like a fetish for robotic mechs and stuff. Number 5. What a surprise! Another mechanical, mechanized robotic unit. When my friend Matt got Super Nintendo before I did when we were kids, and he rented. I don't think he owned it. He rented Mega Man X, and yeah, I jizzed in my pants because I had been a lifelong, at that point, what I was like 9 or whatever, but lifelong to me fan of the Mega Man series, and when we first saw and played Mega Man X, orgasmic. But my first introduction to that robot thing, I don't know what the hell that thing's called either, the one with the fists. I know there was a bunch of different variations in the later Mega Man X's, but in Mega Man X1, I think it was in the Sting Chameleon guy's level, we were like, oh my god, this is awesome! Jump in it and it starts punching shit and you can charge it up and go boom! And it flies into people and just punches them, and yeah, like, looking back, it's stupid to some people, but it's a special time, special game, special time of my life. But get out of here, cat. Yeah. So let's move on to number 4. Yet another hover bike, but from a totally different type of game. Completely the opposite of Unreal Tournament. Another one. Again, introduced from my friend Matt when we were kids. And again, same story as Mega Man. We grew up with Contra. And my very favorite one, even though I haven't played them all, there's like 2 or 3 I've missed out of the, 30 that are out, was my absolute favorite, and I think a lot of people, this is their favorite as well, is Contra 3, the Alien Wars for Super Nintendo. The fourth level, when you can ride around when you're on the those hover bikes on the highway, going through the tunnel and blowing up all the guys on hover bikes above you, and if you shoot enough you get like extra lives and stuff. I remember that part's actually hard, you die a lot, and then you get out into the open highway and there's tanks coming after you and shit, and then that giant ship comes above you and starts shooting shit at you, and then you have that purple guy climbing across on shimmying on that on the hook, coming after you, and then he jumps off and you kill him. And then I'm including this on the list. I know it's not a pilotable vehicle in a sense, as in it like changes the gameplay or whatever you want to say, or the engine, but you eventually jump off and continue the level on a missile, and then it becomes a totally different game. So, like I said, it's my list, and that counts because you're not on the bike the whole time. So let's move on to number 3. I'm sorry, I know. And here's my cat. What's up, buddy? Alright, so, number 3. The Warthog from Halo. My first introduction, I'm not going to bore you, but was obviously Halo 1, like everybody else. And that was your first, experience with the openness of the world once you landed on that Halo ring. It kind of had weird controls. I remember a lot of us were getting used to it at the time, the twin stick thing to pilot, to drive the Warthog, but you get used to it, and obviously it's been a mainstay. It's one of the most recognized vehicles from the franchise, and one of the most memorable. And the later Halo games had different variations, like the one with the rockets on it, and the Gauss Hog that shot the laser that was like a concussion rifle, whatever. That one was pretty cool. But yeah, the Warthog. And I'm gonna have to say that my favorite incarnation of it is from Halo Reach, because I just think that one had the best controls, and it was the best for racing. It just was so smooth. And go figure, Bungie got the mechanics and the physics for the vehicle correct, and then they left. but that's a whole story for another day. Still a fan of it in Halo 4, but I think they changed it a little too much. They made it too realistic, and it's loud as hell when you're trying to drive it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Reach as my favorite incarnation of the Warthog. You know what else was weird? Nerd trivia was that there was only the regular Warthog on Halo 1, which is understandable because that was just supplied by the one ship, the Pillar of Autumn, that crashed on the Halo ring. So obviously there's only that one Warthog. The second Halo, there was 2 different kinds. In the third Halo, there was still the Gauss and the regular Warthog with the chain gun. And then Halo Reach, which is a prequel to the main 3, was all these other Warthogs. Why didn't they have those rocket launching Warthogs in the later ones, right? But whatever, it's the same thing as Star Wars. Newer technology in the prequels than in the laters, but argument for another day. So let's move on to number 2. It is another debatable one, but it's the tank from Star Fox. And yeah, the Landmaster. Almost forgot the name for a second. Should have written it down. So the Landmaster tank, which was first introduced in Star Fox 64, and I know, and that in Star Fox 64 you can't get out of the vehicle like in, I'm going to say Halo, so you can't get in and out of the vehicle. Each level is a standalone vehicle, like the submarine or the R-Wing spaceship. But the 2 missions, I'm pretty sure it was 2, in Star Fox 64, when you pilot the tank, the Landmaster. My favorite being the Junkyard planet, the Junkyard, because it made me think of Shadows of the Empire and Star Wars as a whole. But that was my favorite, because everything changed. Like it's a totally different kind of game, as opposed to the R-Wing. And I always wondered, like, if you're flopping around the tank, flopping around like doing a barrel roll, how did they not get like beyond motion sickness? I probably would. But the case in my argument is that in the later released Star Fox Assault for GameCube, which wasn't hugely popular, but I really like it. I'm a big sci-fi fan, especially when there's animals, because I like animals. Right, buddy? How's this cat not hot as hell? It's like 90 degrees in here, if not hotter. But in Star Fox Assault, on the free range missions or multiplayer, you could run around on foot, and then you could pilot each vehicle that was around the battlefield. And on some of the open world maps in the campaign, you could switch between vehicles, like I said. So the tank, they had the a variation of the Landmaster in it. It had more like tank wheels than tank treads, I believe. It's been a while since I played it, but it was cool. That's where my argument is valid, because you can jump in and jump out of that version. They should make a new game like that. I miss Star Fox. I know they probably don't sell that much, and obviously can't compete with some mainstream stuff like Halo and all that other stuff, but damn it, Nintendo. Come on, what are you doing? And yes, I picked the Landmaster tank over the Scorpion from Halo. And okay, number 1. Number 1. Everyone's gonna laugh. When I first played Mario 3, when I was a little boy, I shit my pants the whole time playing it because it was phenomenal. I can go into the whole story about the Wizard movie and how me and my friend Tony saw it in theaters and had like Woodies the whole time because we would show Mario 3, show Mario 3. Anyway, finally get it home. I remember my mom bought it for me, I remember, and beat it like in one night. No, I'm just kidding. But this is a long game to beat. But the world where you are little, is it the one when you're little? That's my favorite. I'm pretty sure it's the one when you're little. But when you're little and you can climb inside the boot, that's the wind-up boot, like you knock out a Goomba and then you can pilot the sock boot. It's my favorite vehicle of all time. What? Sorry, that's what I think. But yeah, I mean, hipping in and hopping around, jumping on enemies, and then it like gets loose if you don't catch it in time. I think it's been forever since I played that, but that's one I'm never gonna forget about, just because of the experience and my childhood, and that game is one of the best games ever made. And they should imagine that now if they made like a why didn't they ever bring back that boot? But imagine that in something like, well, yeah, Halo, sorry. Say like Master Chief is walking around all first person with his assault rifle and his battle rifle, and then all of a sudden, like there's a boot on the battlefield and he hops inside of it, third person view, and it just hops around, stomping on guys. That's what we want in Halo 5. That is what we want. Pilotable, giant mechanized boots. Forget about the Mantis, bring in the boot from Mario 3. Or make it so you can put Mario 3 boots with the wind-up key in the back on the Mantis. That's what we want. I know my list made no sense, but there it is. There it was. I got a bunch of other lists. I got some pickups I've been working on, but I got some other lists that I have in my head, but I like to like narrow. I didn't think it was going to be as hard as that was. I'm like, oh my god, there's like a million vehicles. But once you start putting those numbers on there, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then it starts to get hard. I'm like, fuck, like, shit, do I really like this Star Fox thing more than the Halo thing? And I'm like, oh my god, it makes you like think a lot, actually, even in unserious lists like mine. But yeah, so it was fun. And I got some other ones I'm going to be putting up, working on, but ow. Yeah, so there's my first one. I hope you guys liked it. Tell me what you think. And yeah, until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Stay out of the hot sun. And I'm going to go tattoo myself. Unless this cat keeps scratching me, then the skin is going to be raw and I can't. So, until next time, guys, take care. Have a good one, and Aaron Strange out.